Welcome to Lambo's with a sports feature, the Big Brother feature Sideline Sports Network. Lord, who's the worst team in the NFL? The Bears, Broncos, or the Giants? There's about two answers here. We knew the Bears weren't going to be that damn good, so I'm gonna throw them out the win. The Broncos with Russell Wilson are completely ass. I mean, my God, they paid him too much money. He doesn't understand anything. He's regressed since leaving Seattle. They gave up three first-round picks and more for a quarterback, which is uh, the worst trade probably in NFL history. Besides another trade I don't want to mention. Um, the Broncos are bad. They're last in defense. Everybody's somewhat on the trade market. I don't think Sean Payton's a bad coach, but it's hard to transfer to. I don't know. The Broncos are just bad in all phases of the game, and it's hard for them to watch on TV. I could go all day about this, but I really don't want to because I want us to watch the Cowboys game and the Chargers. The Giants are godfuck awful. Now, I think the Giants are worse than all three or these two teams. Did you watch the Giants last night? Now, I don't think Tyrod Taylor's a bad quarterback. But goddamn, you got to fire your offensive staff, Brian Daboll. Why are you running the ball with 12 seconds with no timeouts? Like, I don't understand. What are y'all doing? Now, maybe the formation was your option was to run it as far as an audible, but I mean, you shouldn't even give the option to audible to a run play. You're supposed to throw the ball, get an incompletion, and be up 9-0. You may still have a chance to beat Buffalo. I mean, Buffalo, your defense did what you did against Buffalo, holding them to 14 points. I mean, you can't do any better than that. But the play calling, I mean, my God. Why do you run the ball with no timeouts with 12 seconds left? And Brian Daboll was furious, and you can sit there and say, well, he was on top of Saquon Barkley and all that stuff. Nobody runs the ball with 12 seconds with no timeouts from the 2-yard line. Like, you just throw the ball. Like, you just run time. I don't understand. Daniel Jones is completely ass. He's the worst quarterback in the NFC East. So all you haters that thought he was number one, I saw that on Twitter. That was goddamn awful. You put Daniel Jones, Jalen Hurts, Sam Howell, Dak Prescott. I know you're a big hater. I'm a hater too, but Dak Prescott ain't in the bottom four of the NFC East as far as quarterbacks. He's number two. So I just don't understand the hatred for Giants fans. I know you hate the Cowboys, but Daniel Jones is the worst draft pick of all time. He is a bust. He is awful. I feel like if I'm the Giants, start Tyrod Taylor for the rest of the season. He got a better chance to win more games than that sorry ass of Daniel Jones. You can go ahead on this one.
I mean, like we talked about it before the game. We both thought Tyrod was like the most unlucky QB in history, and if he wasn't 34, he'd probably have an opportunity somewhere. But he's past his prime, and that's fine because past his prime is literally on par, if not better, with what Daniel Jones is doing right now. So, I mean, definitely better. He's not, putting the ball in danger. Yeah, he shouldn't have checked to the run. Pretty obvious. That's a veteran. You've got to know that, being in the league since 2011 and, being a very accomplished college quarterback. That's got to be like a very present thing in your mind in that situation that we can't go down inbounds. And he checked to a run, which is obvious that you're going to be down inbounds if you don't score. Like at least for a pass to the end zone, you can sail it over someone's head and you live to see another day. You've probably got 2 shots at the end zone before you have to kick that field goal as well. So it's weird that he made the decision to check. It's not what I was expecting, but to the actual point, I was going to include the Panthers as my worst team, but I mean, statistically, holy shit, the Giants are awful. I was going to go Panthers, Broncos, Bears, then Giants just off the top of my head. But good God, I mean, you mentioned that the Broncos have the worst defense in the league, and that is true. But the Giants are 26th in the league in yards. They allow 28 points a game. And then you go over to the offensive side, they've got the second worst offense. And that's behind the Bengals, who give the Bengals a week. And they won't be at that bottom spot anymore. They've been finding their groove as of the past 2 weeks at least. The offense is getting 12 points a game. They're scoring 12 points a game as an offense. And of course, after like week 1, and people were really like, "Whoa, they like when you or not week 1, but you go up to like week 3 and people are using averages, it's still a little bit skewed just because there's only been 3 games, and for the Giants' sake, like they had the week 1 40-0 loss to the Cowboys, so it was kind of like messing with the data a little bit, but they have 6 games into the schedule now. And the offense is still shit with Saquon, and then without Saquon, the offense as a whole is just bad. And then you go to the defense, and I just said they're 26th in yards allowed, and then you look at their points allowed, they're allowing 28 a game, which is 5th worst in the league. So they now, I will say this. When it comes to points allowed, it's the Broncos at 33, the Panthers at 31, and then the Bears at 29. So this would be like the only category where the Giants are better than those other 3 teams. Well, not the only category, because obviously the Broncos have the worst defense. But when you combine it all together, I don't think it's crazy to say that the Giants are the worst team in the league right now, just off of numbers. And then even if you wanted to go on the eye test and not base it off stats, look at their games. They've gotten waxed in multiple games. They've just been embarrassed. The offense is obviously awful. And it was cool that they had a chance to win last night. And maybe, in a different game, they call that Darren Waller defense a pass interference on that last play, but that's just not what they did. And that's football. That shit happens to every single team, every single week. So, excuses are excuses. They had a chance to win. They made mental mistakes and they didn't. Offense looked terrible. Defense actually stepped up in this game, but not enough to make the stats lean their way at all. They're statistically easily, I think, in my mind, a bottom 2. And just because I hate them, I'm going to say they are the worst team in the league.
All right, final thing for NFL before the Monday night kickoff. Week 6 of the NFL. Aaron Rodgers, what's the timetable of Aaron Rodgers? He's restoring that ball. He could return. I'm going to predict at some point when he will return, and you can predict as well. The Lions are a real deal. They're 5-1. They're probably the best team in the NFC after 49ers and Eagles both lose. There were some great games. The fucking Patriots. I mean, my God, I will rant about the Patriots. My God, when you have a chance to win the game, the offense, at least the offense was better than what it was 2 weeks ago. I will give credit. The defense did what it's supposed to do. But, man, I'm going to go on this Mac Jones rant. That'll be the first thing next. I might be done with the guy. I might be done because, oh, my God. Frustration is getting to me. I slept just fine last night, but my Patriots are in jeopardy of having maybe a 2-win season if we just can't get this shit together. But that's next on Lambo Sports. We will catch you the next 5 minutes.